One, we're launched. Good morning, everyone. Paula Madison Sierra here. Let's jump right into it. We are doing a take two of this one, people. Divorce your clock and supercharge your day. I figured during this time of change that this is a lovely time for me to introduce some of my productivity, my management, my financial referral partners, like all of these folks just to make us better, right? We're coming out of this thing right now, but we're still going to be here for a while making a lot of changes. So this is my goal for to the end of this year to offer all of these great things. So today on 10 at 10, we are going to discuss productivity and how it's changed. And hopefully we can offer some approaches to your productivity and making you better, basically. And so, as always, a little known secret to marketing is that marketing isn't a silo by itself. Marketing and operations is a love story. So you can't do great marketing if it's paired with inefficient operational practices. So this has become my mission on 10 at 10, guys, to offer and introduce to you my great referral partners, as well as inspire you with some great marketing tips and ideas. So my name is Paula Madison Sierra, host of 10 at 10, and the owner of Power Marketing SF here in San Francisco. This morning, I'd like to introduce to you Miss Kim Miller-Hershon. Let me try to get her on the screen. Great, there she goes. Good morning, Kim. How are you today?
I am excellent.
So, Miss Kim Miller-Hershon, I love her tagline, by the way. It's like a marketer's dream. It's like, how did I not come up with this for her? The queen of productivity, people. Kim uses her analytic skills along with a healthy dose of humor to help her clients get results. Kim approaches her work through the lens of someone who walks the walk. She uses tips and advice that she uses them as well, because nothing worse than a consultant who doesn't use their own advice, right? And so she pursues professional and personal development to continually grow, because as we know, technology, so much is changing out there. I do it myself as a marketer because my area is continually changing. Kim, thanks so much for being on this morning.
Thank you. It's wonderful.
So I'm going to jump right into it because I'm sorry. When we came up with this topic, it was divorcing your clock. I like to be on a schedule. I know some people don't, but how do I divorce my clock exactly? What's that all about?
Right. Well, I came up with Divorce Your Clock specifically because there are a lot of time-honored and time-bound rules that people feel like they have to follow in order to be productive. And what I really wanted to say by Divorce Your Clock is sometimes you have to think outside the box to be able to get to the solution that's going to be right for you. So I don't mean if you like to be scheduled, Paula, you be scheduled, and that is going to work. I think what I wanted to say, though, is that for those people who don't want to be scheduled, we need to rethink what is a good solution for that.
So, what are some of the biggest challenges that you come across when you're working with your clients on a day to day?
Well, I would definitely say that interruptions are probably the biggest thing that I hear, right? You have on your schedule what you think you're going to do, and either someone or something interrupts like your very well planned schedule. And I think that is the number one thing that I hear. I think the second thing, and you're not going to be surprised to hear this, is that people have a gazillion things to do. And it seems like there's always more things to do than there is time to do it. So I would say really those are the two biggest things.
Okay. All right. I'm liking it. It makes perfect sense because yeah, it is something that I feel like I hear quite a bit. It's like the phone interruption, the dings, the pingings, emails that must get answered, and other people's emergencies becoming your emergency. And of course, how do you tackle that? One of the things that I hear quite a bit, because you can tell with me and my schedule that I'm all about trying to really look at productivity all the time for myself. And I get the nose turned up quite often. Oh my God, I'm not like you. I don't know how to do this. This is not going to work for me. I'm just going to have to do what I need to do. Talk to me about productivity. Is it the same for everyone?
Yeah, that is a great question. And that is, if I could get on my soapbox, that is really, I think, the biggest mistake that people make around productivity is to say that, okay, well, there's like productivity looks like this for everyone. And it is
Yeah.
a huge mistake. And, I would actually even posit, right? And this is like a big claim, but that when somebody says, oh, you should do this, right? You have to have a zero inbox in order to be productive. You have to have your entire schedule blocked out to be productive. Whatever the
Yeah.
other things are, I would say that not only is that not true for everyone, it's actually disrespectful. I
Hmm.
know, a big claim, but it's disrespectful because it's not acknowledging yourself in the equation.
Ah, okay. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's taking what somebody else says and saying, and here's the other thing, is that what it's also saying is that if you can't do it like that, then you're the failure.
Mm.
Yeah.
We're big on pointing the fingers on ourselves with all the bad stuff, aren't we? Instead of respecting the good stuff specifically in our personalities, right?
Exactly.
So yeah.
And building on that, right? To create the system that's going to work for you.
Okay. Well, let me jump right into another thing then. So how do we organize ourselves, our personal selves? I guess this is a two-parter question then. I'm going to break this up and throw this one at you. Um, what's the first step before we even get to the productivity stuff for an individual? What are the things that we need to be looking at as we're making some decisions about what we should do or what we shouldn't do to get started? So Paul is likes to be very organized. Some other person likes a little bit more laid back. I want it to be a little bit easier. Some the other people who hate rules altogether, but they still want to be productive in their day.
Mhm.
How do you work with it? Is there like a first step that we should all be looking at for ourselves?
Okay. Step number one, stop shooting on yourself. That's step number one, which
Let's apply that one to everything, by the way.
everything. But, in all seriousness, it is really important to challenge what you think about. Here's the other thing. The other thing is that thinking, I think the first step is, what is it that you're trying to achieve? Sometimes we think of productivity, we talked about supercharge your day. And so that is really micro oftentimes. And I think if you want to talk about what do you want to do before you get to the specific things, I think what you want to do is understand, what does the productivity get you? What do you want? What are you building? So that as you're creating your daily plan, as you're working on your priorities, you have a guidepost. And it's not just what everybody else wants from you, but it's really understanding what you want for yourself.
Let me ask you another question. In your opinion, should we be making goals and looking at those whys on a monthly, a quarterly, 6 month, yearly? is there like a range, or should we just be doing it week by week? Is that efficient as well?
Right. So the answer is it depends. Right. So I'm going to go back, and I'm not hedging here. What I'm going to say is it truly depends on your style. Right. So I will tell you, though, I am a big fan of the 12-week year, which is a book and a system that I think is really stellar. So I think that's good in terms of there is no standard by which you should be looking at things. I think it depends on who you are. You know, for some clients, Paula, literally, I have them put it in their phone so it shows up as a daily event. So they are literally looking at their guidepost every single day before they set their daily schedule. For some people, they're like, nope, I don't need to do that, right? I can look at it every week. I can look at it every month or quarter. Like I'm focused. I'm good. I know where I'm going. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I love that. All right. So now that we've gone through the individual, looking at ourselves, the individual, and us shitting on ourselves. I love that, by the way. How do we begin to organize ourselves? Are there some tips, some basic tips that we need to look at, not just to get our desk cleaned or clean out our email boxes, but if we're trying to make some real changes and up our productivity in our day, what are some things that we can do to get ourselves moving forward?
So I'm going to give you two really quick tips that are really game changers. The first tip is that you should stop making a to-do list. I know! Mutiny! Here's the reason. I know! Okay, so
I can't breathe, Kim.
I get it.
I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
All right. So here's what happens. We make a list, right, of all the things that we intend to do in a day, or all the things that need to get done. And we don't consider what actual time we have to get those things done. So what happens is that we have no connection between a task and time. And that is my biggest tip, is that those two things have to be connected. And when you do that, so here's the thing. When you do that, instead of having a to-do list, you have a doing list. Because there's no way you're going to get all the things on your to-do list done. So you can use it as a parking lot. You can use it as here are the things that, I want to get done. But you have to connect it with your calendar and with the time you actually have to do things. So that's really the first tip, and it's a game changer. I think the second tip, and I know a lot of people listening are not going to love this, but I don't think that you should open your email up first thing in the day.
All right, I'm there with you, by the way, sister. I had to get rid of that. And by the way, and technology, it's like paper, cup of coffee, paper, leave it alone,
Right. Because I think really once you start opening up your email, you start being beholden to everybody else's demands and what they need. And I think you need to start your day with what you need to do.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. That makes perfect sense. I mean, that one I had to kind of, I had to embrace that one because, of course, we're trained, because you heard my phone just kind of dangled as we're speaking. You go straight to it as you wake up, and you're right there in everyone else's problems before you've dealt with yourself.
That's right.
So I love it. I'm recapping task and time connection, not looking at your email before you get started. And actually, a number 3, if you could offer us another step, that would be great.
Say, and sort of it all connects together, right? Is that you really have to understand what your priorities actually are. And that ties all the things that we've talked about together, which is, as opposed to what is just on the list, what is truly the priority. And I guess the last thing I would say is that if you have anything on your list that's going to take you more than 90 minutes to do, then it's more than one task.
Oh, yeah.
You should never be sitting at your desk for more than 90 minutes because
really?
the serotonin is just depleted, and you just need to get up and move in order to replenish yourself, whether you think you do or not, because it's not Kim saying it. That is scientifically what happens.
Yeah, I'm doing 25-minute units right now, and then just getting up for 5, and I'm only there for 2 hours now. So it's like taking those 4 little 5-minute, and it's not even. Initially, I tried it, but in my head, I was complaining a lot about it. But the getting up and moving, actually, I feel more productive.
Yeah.
You're moving, right? It's
Right.
the oxygen levels going. So that one took me a little while. I did complain a little bit, but folks, this is a really good one. Definitely try this one, So I love that, And any last little bonus that you want to say because, by the way, I love this recommendation. I've been seeing it for a while, the 12-week year. I'm definitely going to get on reading that, and I will drop that in the link, folks, so that you guys can have it later,
Right.
Along with all your information.
Right. So what I would say is, the book is the method. I think it's the methodology that I love. I don't know that I'm a huge fan of the book.
Mm-hmm.
I would potentially read a summary and get the field guide, because that's sort of like the workbook. And I think that's what's really helpful about the 12-week year.
Yeah.
And, the last thing that I would say, which I feel like in the area of productivity and time management, people don't say enough, is that you have to trust yourself, that you have to know what works for you, what you do well, and apply that to whatever systems that you want and need, because this is a long game. This is not just a fad or we're going to solve something this week. So you've got to understand what your habits are, what you're good at, and what best practices are, and then create a customized and personalized plan.
Nice. Okay. Thank you for those tips, by the way. Really great. And I know that you have some things coming up in July. I don't know if it's a webinar. Can you let folks know if they want to get more information and get a little bit more Kim? How can we get in touch with you during a webinar or something?
Right. So the best thing to do is to go to my website, kimmillerhershon.com, and I have a webinar on July 30th at 11 a.m. It's a half an hour just for some more great tips and just understand what the system looks like, give you an opportunity to get to know me a little bit better. So I would suggest going to my website and signing up for that. And you can also, I would encourage you to connect with me on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kim. Guys, I always try to keep it short and nice and tight to get you back to your workday. Thank you, though, for watching on the replay, which is fantastic. I want to close this out with a quote today that ties up a lot of what we've talked about today, which is, if you spend too much time thinking about a thing, you'll never get it done. Bruce Lee, actor, icon. As always, guys, remember that these videos that I do every week are no replacement for actual professional assistance. So please reach out to our guest today, Kim Miller-Hershon. I will have all her information below on Facebook after we wrap up, and the book recommendation as well. And please reach out to her if you have any more need for advice. And of course, as always, if you do need marketing as well, please reach out to myself, our marketing. We can help you right there. And again, fight obscurity, guys. Please stay visible during this time. We air every Thursday at 10 a.m. on Facebook Live. Viewers, thank you so much. You amaze me that you share and love. And hopefully, if there's any other content, any other ideas that you would like to hear about, please let me know. As always, stay strong and keep moving forward. Miss Kim, thank you so much. A couple of those things that you said, it's like things that you know that you hide from. So thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really
Take care, everyone. Goodbye.